This is the webinar we did on customer relationship management. The things that we went over in this webinar have to do with customer reporting and being able to export certain information out of RICs. The first thing that I'm going to start with is the customer report, the main customer report that we use in RICS Enterprise. To get there, you're going to click on Customer, Customer Reporting, and Customer List. This will bring you into the customer list report. Now there's many different things that you can choose and do in this report, so I'm going to go through each tab. First of all, anytime you come into any report, there is the report name. So if you want to select certain parameters on this report and save it, you can go to the Write a Report Name, call this report a name by typing a name in, select your parameters on each tab, and click on Save Report. This way, at any point in time, whenever you come back into the customer list report, you can simply click on the magnifying glass icon and select one of your saved reports and run it. Then we have the output method. The default is PDF, which is just a report format where you're going to view it on the screen. And then from there, if you want to print it out or email it, you can do so. The other options are if you want to export this into Excel or to CSV, which is the comma separated value. But the default is the PDF. We have 4 different tabs on this report. We have Report Options, Report Criteria, Additional Customer Criteria, and Detail Criteria. We're going to start with the Report Options tab. Here we have what period would you like to analyze. If you click on the drop down to the right of report period, you're going to have all of these different options to choose from. Or you can select none. There are other options in the detail criteria where you can select a certain period based on the criteria that you're selecting as well. Then we have how do you want to sort the results. So if you click on the drop down, your choices are account number, customer name, zip code, year-to-date purchases, total-to-date purchases, and last year purchases. So these are all the different ways that you can sort this report. Then you have how do you want to display the report. If you don't want all the detail with all of the purchase history on everything they've purchased, then you'll want to click where it says Wide Report. This way you're going to get the list of your customers and you're not going to get every single purchase that they made. If you're looking for some detail on some particular customers where you need to know the exact purchases that they made, then that's where you can leave that unchecked. We're going to go ahead and leave this checked for this example. Then there's report criteria. In this area we have where you can select by store state, by certain customers, by a city, by a state, a zip, and if you have customer custom entries, you can select by those. You can also exclude certain criteria if you want to. So if I wanted a list of all of my customers that were from Indiana, then I could go to by customer state and I could put the state code for Indiana and run this report. Or if I'm wanting to know just a particular customer's purchase detail, I can go to the right of customers and put in their account number either by typing it in or using the magnifying glass icon, the lookup, and just select that customer, or you can do multiple customers as well by separating each account with a comma after it. And then I could go back to the report options and not check this wide report, and that would give me all of the purchase history for that customer or customers. Then we have the tab of Additional Customer Criteria. The first part is what period would you like to find last sale. So if I'm trying to get my customers in, they haven't been in my store in a while, and I want to say give me a list of my customers that have not purchased with me a year ago and further back, then I can choose that through this drop down, choose the period, and it will give me a list of those customers that they made their very last purchase in my store as of a particular date. That way, if I'm trying to get people back into my store that haven't been in a while, then I can do that, whether I send them a postcard or an email or give them a call. This next section, how would you like to filter the sales? So if I want to know a customer that has made a purchase, total to date, year to date. Year to date is this first one, then we have total to date purchases, and then we have last year purchases. So say I want to know of my customers, the ones that have purchased from $500 and above. I can put this range, so this tells me, it's going to give me a list of customers that have purchased from $500 and above total to date. I can choose the first section, which would be year to date, the second one, which is total to date, so that's total as a customer, their total to date purchases, or last year sales if I just want to know last year's sales. This next section is how would you like to filter accounts? So I can click on this drop down here. If I only want to list my customers that I have email addresses on file, then I can select yes, and that'll just give me a list of my customers that I have an email address in their account. Or if I want a list of customers that don't have an email address on account, maybe I'm trying to get my employees to get more emails and I want them to give these select group of customers a call and see if I can get their emails because I'm doing a promotion and I need to send out an email to these customers. Or if you don't need either one, you can just do the not applicable. The other section is only include accounts with an alert. If I have an alert message on my customer and I want a printout of just the customers that I have put an alert message on, it will only print those customers. Maybe I need to clear out some of those alerts and I want to see what they are. It'll just print me a list of those customers that I have entered an alert message on. And the last thing is only include top number of accounts. So if I'm trying to get like a best-selling customers list, maybe I want to know my top 100 customers. This is where I can put this number in. And maybe I go back to the report options and I want to sort these in order of year-to-date purchases. So we'll do year-to-date purchases and additional customer criteria, and I want to know my top 100 customers, and that will give me just my top 100 customers in order of those year-to-date sales from top to bottom. This next section up to the top right, if you keep track of birthdays in the system for your accounts, you can do what birthday do you want to filter on, the birth year, the birth month, the birth day, or the birth period. Like if you're sending out birthday cards, in the mail for each month, you can do that here and that will just print out a report just for those customers that have birthdays. If you use the Frequent Buyer program, you can filter through that. So if you want to know everybody that is close, maybe you have a Frequent Buyer program where you buy 5, get the 6 half price. Maybe you want to report on those customers that are pretty close. They've bought maybe 4 items or 5 items where you want to either give them a call or send them an email to let them know you're really close to getting your frequent buyer discount. Come on in and use your discount. So that's a way to filter that report out where it only prints those customers out. Now we're going to move to the detailed criteria tab. In this area you can do a lot of things. So if you want to know just people who have purchased from a particular store or by store state, if you want to know a list of your customers that have only purchased from this supplier, maybe I want to list my customers that have only purchased Nike, then you can put that supplier or suppliers in. You can do multiple suppliers as long as you put the supplier code, a comma, and then the next supplier, comma, so everything is separated by commas if you're doing more than one supplier. You can do just certain classes. So if I wanted a list of customers that have just bought from men's shoes or men's casual shoes or women's sandals, you can do one class or multiple classes just by selecting it. If I wanted all of footwear, I could click footwear and it would check everything. If I just wanted men's footwear, I could check men's footwear. Or if I just wanted a specific class like men's trail, I could select that specific class or classes really easily. and that would just give me a list of those customers that have purchased from those classes. You can do the same thing for by color, by SKU or SKUs. The column and row is by size, so if you're trying to get a list of customers, maybe you're having a problem selling size 14s in your store. You have a lot of them in your store and you want to get rid of them. You could select, give me a list of customers that have only purchased this particular size. You could go to that size and just click on that particular size, 14, and that would only give you a list of customers that have purchased that size. You can do the same thing for your row size grids, like for widths, your narrow, medium, and wides, or whatever grids are in a row type grid. You can do product custom entries if you just want to pull out certain product custom entries only, by return code, by promotion code, by salespeople. Then here is where you can tell what period do you want to find any sale. So if I want to know as a certain period, like say for the previous month, and I wanted to know only Nike for the previous month, so this is based on the select detail that we choose here. And it would only give me a list of purchases for Nike that were made in that previous month. And I could even go a step further. If I wanted to know the range of dollars, like only people that have spent $200 and above in Nike for the previous month, then I could put that range here, and that's the dollar range between $200 and above for the previous month for Nike. So this detail criteria tab is all based on what you type in, and that's going to narrow it down and give you exactly what you're looking for on this report. You can also do what is the range of ticket quantities sold. You have a minimum ticket and a maximum ticket. So if you want to know for a certain period anything that was 5 ticket quantities sold or more, that's what this section is. And you can also exclude certain criteria. So if I wanted all of my suppliers except for Nike, I could put in Nike and I could click on this exclude checkbox to the right, and that would print me out a report of everything that customers have purchased except for Nike. And that exclusion works all the way down for these fields. So as you can see, many different things that you can look at, narrow down on this customer list report. This is strictly a report. If you want to export information, I'm going to show that to you in a different area, but you could also export this as well from the screen. If you wanted to export it, instead of looking at it as a report, you can choose, exporting this to an Excel spreadsheet. The other thing that I have a lot of customers ask is they just want a list of, I want to know how many customers I have in my system. Just want to know the total number of customers. So an easy way to do it, when you come into this customer list report, you can click on Clear Criteria. Clear Criteria will clear anything in here. So maybe if you ran a report from before, that'll clear that criteria since we're going to do a new one. And then we can set exactly what we want so we can see how many customers we have in the system. It's really easy. On this first screen, I want to click on Wide Report because I'm going to actually go to the end of the report just to see a number, and I don't want all the details, so I don't want any purchase detail. I check this. The order of really doesn't matter because really I'm just going to look at the end of the report anyway, and all of the other tabs I'm just going to leave blank because I'm not really selecting any criteria other than I just want a list of all of my customers that are on my customer list, and then I can click on Add Job and Run.